Before sunrise, a narrow wooden ship moves toward a quiet island. Its sail is down. Oars enter the dark water together. On the shore stands Lindisfarne, one of the most respected Christian monasteries in northern Europe. In the year 793, armed visitors from Scandinavia attack it. They take portable wealth and leave terror behind. To the monks who recorded the event, it seemed as if a new and violent age had begun. But this is only the first page of a much larger story. The people we call Vikings did not change Europe through raids alone. They built ships and towns. They traded silver, furs, weapons, and enslaved people. They became farmers, mercenaries, rulers, explorers, and Christians. Their roots stretched from North America to Constantinople, and from the Arctic to the Islamic world. This is how the Vikings changed Europe, and why much of their world survived after the Viking Age ended. First, we need to correct a common picture. Not every person in medieval Scandinavia was a Viking. Most people were farmers, fishers, craftspeople, traders, children, and household workers. Going Viking was connected to an expedition, often by sea. It could involve raiding, but travel, trade, diplomacy, and military service were also part of the same mobile world. The horned helmet is another modern invention. Real helmets were practical and rare. The deeper mistake is not the horns, however. It is the idea that Scandinavian society was only a society of warriors. Between about 800 and 1050, communities in present-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden were changing. Local rulers competed for followers. Wealth created status. New trading centers grew at Rib, Hedeby, Birka, and Kopang. Across the sea, kingdoms and monasteries held treasure. Across the rivers to the east, markets connected northern Europe with Byzantium and the Islamic caliphates. Historians still debate why expansion accelerated. Population, political competition, land, trade, slavery, and opportunity may all have mattered. There was no single Viking plan. There were many journeys made for different reasons. Behind those journeys stood a farming society with strong inequalities. Wealthy households controlled land, ships, animals, and labor. Free people could attend assemblies where disputes were heard, although power was not shared equally. Women managed farms, textile production, food stores, and households, especially when men traveled. Some women also moved across the Viking world as settlers. At the bottom were thralls, enslaved women and men who could be captured, purchased, inherited, or born into servitude. The freedom of Viking travelers often depended upon the unfreedom of others. Every part of this story depends on the ship. Scandinavian builders joined overlapping wooden planks to create light but strong hulls. A shallow draft, the small distance between the waterline and the bottom of the ship, allowed vessels to cross open seas, enter rivers, and land on beaches without a harbor. Warships were long and narrow. They carried crews quickly but had little room for cargo. Trading ships were wider and could carry far more weight. Some ocean-going vessels transported tens of tons of goods. The square sail provided power across long distances. Oars gave control near coasts and inside rivers. A crew could arrive where defenders did not expect it, then leave before a larger army gathered. The ship was therefore more than a weapon. It was transport, technology, and social organization. Building one required timber, iron, wool, tar, skilled labor, and a leader able to gather people and supplies. Viking mobility began long before the sail appeared on the horizon. Navigation also depended on experience. Sailors watched coastlines, stars, winds, birds, and currents. They learned where fresh water could be found and when seasonal weather made a route dangerous. A fast ship was useless without knowledge, food, repair materials, and trusted landing places. Maritime success belonged to networks of skills, not to one heroic captain. Lindisfarne became famous because Christian writers described the shock. Monasteries were attractive targets. They held silver and valuable objects, but often had weak defenses. Early raiding groups could strike quickly without controlling territory. Over time, the scale changed. Fleets stayed longer. Leaders demanded payments in exchange for peace. Raiding became connected to political ambition. In 865, the force remembered as the Great Army entered England. It moved from kingdom to kingdom, taking Northumbria, East Anglia, and much of Mercia. Only Wessex remained able to resist. The legendary Ragnar Lothbrok is often placed at the center of this invasion, but the stories about Ragnar were written centuries later and may combine several different figures. His supposed sons, including Ivar the Boneless, belonged to a mixture of history and legend. The army was real. The family story is far less certain. In 878, Alfred of Wessex defeated the Viking leader Guthrum at Edington. Guthrum accepted baptism, and a political settlement followed. Large parts of northern and eastern England developed under Scandinavian rule and law. This region later became known as the Danelaw. Across the Channel, fleets attacked towns along the great rivers of the Frankish world. Paris was raided in 845 and threatened again in later decades. Frankish rulers sometimes paid large sums to make armies leave. These payments solved an immediate crisis, but also demonstrated that organized expeditions could turn mobility into political leverage. The invaders had become neighbors. Settlement changed the meaning of Viking power. People built farms, raised families, repaired roads, used markets, and negotiated with local communities. Scandinavian place name endings still mark parts of England. York grew as an important center. In Ireland, Dublin developed from a Viking base into a major port connected to the Atlantic trading world. The process was neither peaceful nor simple. Land was taken, warfare continued, enslavement was a central part of the economy, and captives could be sold across enormous distances. The same routes that carried silver and silk also carried people who had lost their freedom, yet settlement also produced cultural exchange. Languages borrowed words, artistic styles mixed, political systems adapted. Scandinavian rulers learned to govern Christian populations while local rulers copied military and financial practices used against them. Resistance also reshaped government. Alfred fortified towns and reorganized defense. His children continued the struggle. Edward the Elder and his sister Æthelflæd, ruler of Mercia, recovered territory from Scandinavian armies and built networks of defended settlements. Viking pressure did not only create Viking states, it pushed their opponents to build stronger states as well. This was not a complete replacement of one people by another. Archaeology, language, law, and genetics revealed different patterns in different regions. Viking influence could be powerful even where the number of settlers was limited. Now follow the silver. From the Baltic, Scandinavian travelers entered the river systems of Eastern Europe. They carried ships or cargo around rapids and moved toward the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and Constantinople. Some served the Byzantine emperor as members of the Varangian Guard. Others traded furs, wax, weapons, and enslaved people for silver and luxury goods. Arabic coins found in Scandinavia reveal the scale of these connections. A scientific study published in 2026 examined some of the earliest Danish Viking pennies from the Damhus hoard near Ribe. Their metal contained a mixture of Western European silver and Islamic silver that had arrived through Eastern networks as early as the 9th century. The discovery is important because metal can preserve a journey that no written chronicle recorded. Chemical traces connect a coin to different silver stocks, while its archaeological context connects that metal to a particular place and period. Evidence can travel even when the names of the travelers are lost. Think about what that means. A small coin in Denmark could contain metal that had crossed thousands of kilometers through many hands. The Viking world was not isolated at Europe's northern edge. It was part of a connected Eurasian economy. Trading towns also strengthened kings. Rulers protected markets, controlled roads, collected duties, and moved craftspeople into places they could tax. Commerce helped turn competing local powers into more organized kingdoms. In Western Europe, Viking leaders sometimes discovered that land was more valuable than another payment of silver. In 911, the Frankish king Charles the Simple granted territory around Rouen to a Viking leader known as Rollo. In exchange, Rollo accepted authority, defended the river, and entered the Christian political order. The region became Normandy, the land of the Northmen. The transformation was fast. Rollo's descendants adopted the French language and local customs, while building one of Europe's most powerful states. In 1066, William, Duke of Normandy, conquered England. His army was not a Viking army, but Normandy itself had grown from a Viking settlement. England also experienced a Scandinavian empire before William arrived. In the early 11th century, Cnut ruled England, Denmark, and Norway, creating a North Sea kingdom joined by ships, tribute, and royal alliances. The Viking Age was producing states capable of controlling Viking activity. Raiders became rulers. Rulers built churches, minted coins, and demanded taxes. The system was changing from inside. Norwegian voyagers moved west through island chains that offered new land and new resources. They settled the Faroe Islands and Iceland. From Iceland, Eric the Red led settlers to Greenland. Then Norse crews crossed farther west. At Meadows in Newfoundland, archaeologists found turf buildings, workshops, iron production, and evidence of ship repair. Tree ring science shows that Norse people cut wood there in the year 1021. It is the only authenticated Norse site in North America. This was not the discovery of an empty continent. Indigenous peoples had lived across North America for thousands of years. The Norse camp was small and short-lived. It functioned as a base for exploration and resources, not the beginning of a permanent European conquest. Even so, the voyage remains extraordinary. A network that began in Scandinavian farms now reached across the North Atlantic. The same shipbuilding tradition that carried raiders to monasteries carried families, tools, livestock, and traders into unfamiliar environments. The Viking Age did not end because the people disappeared. It ended because Scandinavia and the surrounding world changed. Christianity spread gradually through missions, marriage, trade, and royal power. Around 965, Harold Bluetooth's Great Stone at Jelling declared that he had made the Danes Christian. The statement was political as well as religious. A Christian king could connect himself to the institutions and rulers of Europe. By about 1050, most Scandinavians were Christian. Denmark, Norway, and Sweden were becoming stronger kingdoms. Kings controlled armies and taxes more effectively. Coastal settlements improved their defenses. The easy targets of earlier centuries became harder to exploit. The year 1066 is often used as a dramatic ending. A Norwegian invasion failed at Stamford Bridge shortly before William of Normandy conquered England at Hastings. But historical periods do not close like doors. Trade, migration, warfare, and Scandinavian politics continued. What ended was a particular balance. Mobile sea leaders had once operated between weaker kingdoms and open trading routes. Now centralizing states controlled more of that movement. The Vikings changed Europe because they connected places that had seemed far apart. They forced kingdoms to improve defense and taxation. They helped ports grow into towns. They settled regions whose laws, place names, and identities still carry Scandinavian traces. Their eastern journeys linked the Baltic to Byzantine and Islamic markets. Their western voyages joined Scandinavia to the North Atlantic and, briefly, North America. They also left a difficult legacy. Raiding destroyed communities. Slavery enriched traders and rulers. Violence should not be hidden beneath stories of adventure. But neither should the Viking world be reduced to violence. Its most lasting power came from movement. People, objects, silver, words, beliefs, and political ideas crossing water. The ship approaching Lindisfarne in 793 looked like a threat from outside Europe. 3 centuries later, Viking descendants and Scandinavian kingdoms were woven deeply into Europe itself. That is the central transformation. The Vikings did not simply attack the medieval world. They became part of the world they had changed. Which Viking legacy matters most? Exploration, trade, settlement, political change, or the stories that still shape popular culture? Share your answer below. And if you want to see how another great system connected distant lands, continue with our documentary about Oman's empire across the Indian Ocean.